Welcome to the Bible Momming Podcast, where we are parenting by the book. I'm your host, Paula Whidden. This podcast is for women who struggle with regular mom stuff, but also long to have their kids grow closer to Christ. It's a lifetime journey, and we're in it together. As a real mom, you just never know where I'll be podcasting from, but I'll always be available for you. Now let's get started. Hello, everybody. It's so good to talk with you today. I am enjoying California's coldness. I apologize if you live elsewhere because I am a spoiled child and love the fact that we are not frozen. We are, however, having more rain than I am used to. I was born in the Bay Area and spent some time in Arizona, so I'm used to lots of sun. And when we rain, it's kind of funny how that messes with my system. Today, I am so excited to talk with you. My house is nice and quiet. One of my daughters is doing her homework for college. Can't even believe that I'm saying that. And the other's off with a friend who's going to see a movie. And I just wanted to talk with you. You know, one of the things I've noticed lately about our kids, they have such easy access to stuff. You know, we drive into a restaurant and we get our food, we go home, we pull up at a bank or we go someplace, we pop our card in, we get money. At our fingertips, we can easily find out the answers to just about any question we have via the internet. And I'm sure our kids do that with Alexa all the time. I have actually heard some stories of kids who've accidentally prayed to Alexa because, you know, mom and dad are always asking Alexa for stuff. So one of the things that happens with that is that we end up accidentally making our kids think that that's all there is in the world, that that's how it is everywhere. And they start thinking, hey, I say something and it should happen. I snap my finger and people should come to me. And it becomes this kind of entitlement feeling. And we don't want our kids to be raised that way. That's not how we want them to be. But it's really easy to see how that can happen. So that is why we're having today's podcast, because I have learned that over the years, one of the tricks that helps a lot when we're trying to give our kids balance and perspective is to help expose them to other countries, other needs, other people's experiences. And one of the great ways to do that is through missions. Our family decided to sponsor a girl from Uganda so that she could go through schooling in Uganda back about 10 years ago when my youngest daughter, Bethany, was 5. And we started learning about Dorothy and what her life was like through letters that she sent, through information that the organization Children of the Nations, what they sent to us about what was happening in her country. And it just exposed us to a different way of thinking. We also had the opportunity to do different things with our family elsewhere. And one of the things I've learned is that by having my kids help out with people who are homeless in our area or who serve in different ways, it broadens their horizons. It helps them imagine different things. We've had good conversations as a family as they ask why questions, and sometimes I can answer them and sometimes I can't. But we are together seeking to serve other people, seeking to help other people. And when we do that, my kids aren't quite as needy feeling. They don't expect everything right away because they see that other people don't get that right away. So I wanted to encourage you today. I had this great conversation with a friend of mine. Her name is Lisa DiGiovanni, and she has been involved in various types of missions for as long as I've known her. She has been on the board of one mission organization. She created her own just recently, and she's gone on several trips with her family on her own in a variety of ways. And just her insight into experiences with how to help our kids think outside their own world is amazing. And I wanted to bring her to you and help you to learn from her. So as you listen to us, just realize that, we Southern California girls get sick too, so we've got a little bit of coughs and stuff going on, but we really wanted to share this with you, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, I'm welcoming Lisa DiGiovanni. Did I say that properly, Lisa? Because sometimes I don't hear your last name.
You did. You said it perfectly.
Awesome. Now, Lisa is a good friend of mine who has been involved in all sorts of different missions for years and years. And she is the mom of 2 sons, but also a grandma. How old is your grandson?
My grandson is 3 and my granddaughter's 3 months.
Oh, I forgot about your granddaughter. Lisa's voice sounds, absolutely young because Lisa is absolutely young regardless. And she is an amazing example of how you raise your kids to think outside of their world and to grow close to Christ in a very different way because of her passion for missions over the years and because of the different ways she has donated her time and energy. And I'm just going to, keep telling all sorts of great stuff about you, Lisa, because I love you.
I will pay you later.
Now, Lisa, just out of curiosity, how many mission trips over the years, because I know I've known you since your boys have been grown up, but how many mission trips over the years do you think you've gone on?
They're too numerous to count, but I would say probably around 30.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. Now, did your boys go on mission trips with you when they were younger?
Yes, they did.
What kind of trips did you guys take when they were younger?
Mission trip doesn't necessarily mean out of the country for me.
Absolutely.
So, as they were a little bit older, like 16, Josh went to Uganda with me.
Oh, I didn't realize he did. That's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't think we were going to get him back home. He loved it so much. Mom, can I stay?
Bethany is itching to go to Uganda also. She would have gone last year if we would have let her.
Oh, she'd love it.
Oh yeah. She's going to be turning 15. And so it's one of those we're praying to see whether or not God wants to open that door for us this year.
Yeah. And then Justin, he's gone to Mexico. And then Josh has also been to Haiti.
Okay. So now, mission trips has been something you've involved them in various ways. Why was that something you wanted to be sure they did?
Well, I think as far as serving, it was really important to serve at home first, but also what a blessing we have to be able to extend our wealth. Material wealth to areas that don't have material wealth. So I started with them with sponsorship, and to really entrench them into other cultures.
Yeah.
And also locally, a lot of local serving opportunities came along. And so that's how it started. And they both, now they're 27 and 25, and they both are such givers. Justin recently started another organization with me, and Josh is just as involved.
Oh, I didn't realize he was involved in the process of the new organization, which we will talk about in just a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
that's awesome. Now, it's not like you're a pastor or somebody who went to seminary to be, somebody who always teaches the Bible. What has been your regular day-to-day job?
My regular day-to-day job is I'm a court reporter. I'm a trained court reporter. I'm currently not working as a court reporter due to injury, so I'm working part-time in an accountant's office.
Okay. So, nothing super flashy or fancy or whatever. People will go, well, pastors always go to mission trips or whatever. It's just, you're just an average person, not to knock that in any way.
Yeah, I'm an extraordinarily average person.
and one of the things that I think is really funny is, because you mentioned that you're sharing the wealth, and because I just want to clarify for the listeners, it's not like you live in a mansion.
No, not by any stretch.
It's just the recognition that being in the United States, just being in the United States and being able to have your own home already puts you in, what is it? I think it's like the top 5% of wealth in the world.
Yes. Yeah, we are so materially wealthy here.
That's hard to grasp, I think, for a lot of people, but that's something you've been thinking about for years, I think.
It has. It started with, literally just being grateful. We can go in our bathroom and turn on the faucet, clean water comes out, and then I can even tell it how hot or cold.
Right.
We are so spoiled.
Right.
Yes.
I still remember going to Uganda, and I had an aha moment when they have this very nice accommodations for guests who come and serve now. And it is also rented out when people are not coming there to do missions. And they have this refrigerator in the room. And to me, that's just logical. I'm like, oh, of course you have a refrigerator. And I was always wondering why the refrigerator was never super cold, right? And I had this aha moment where I realized, well, first of all, they were only keeping water in there, little bottles of water. Those were bottles of water for us. Everybody else went from the well.
Yeah.
And the reason was that I guess it was only on when the generator was on, and that was only on for a little bit in the morning and a little bit at night. So no other power.
Yeah.
And then it also occurred to me I was like, wait a second, there aren't any other refrigerators around here, are there? And that was just stunning to me to realize. I was like, the fact that I have a refrigerator makes me wealthy.
It really does. And you can put food in it and it stays cold.
All day.
Yes, all day long. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's something that I think a lot of people just don't realize that's on the table.
Yeah, we take it for granted. It's what we have,
Well, now as you've been to different places, what are you've been in country, what are some of the places in country that you've served with here in the United States?
I served with Mission 22. We do a fundraiser for them every year. They serve the soldiers who come back with PTSD.
Oh.
They're an amazing organization. So we do a fundraiser for them, and we've served at the food bank downtown and local. Mm-hmm. We have served meals on holidays and food drives, and not on holidays. Holidays are usually the busiest time, so it's actually during the summer months that are most lean for nonprofits.
Right, because at the holidays, everybody wants to serve, but then in the summer, everybody wants to go on vacation, so then all the organizations are going, hello, we still need to feed people.
Yeah. And pretty much anything that comes your way, you can help in some way.
Okay. Well, then what countries have you had the opportunity to go to besides the United States?
I've been to Mexico, Haiti, Uganda, Cuba. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen people of different ages besides just adults volunteering and going on these events? Like you mentioned your son going when he was 16 to Uganda.
Yeah. Kids going is the highlight. I brought kids to Haiti with me as young as 16.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend much younger than that because it is a lot to absorb.
Right. And it's out of country, so there's more complications in that.
Yeah, and Haiti's just very unpredictable. Mexico, we've had as young grade school kids.
Yep.
But Haiti, some of my favorite trips were with the youth. We have meetings to prepare. We have 3 meetings to prepare them before we go. And their questions are fabulous, and they are just captive audiences. And I think it really breeds just a sense of giving and gratefulness. And that gratefulness can carry throughout a lifetime.
Yeah. Well, because once you've been impacted by seeing, people in a different environment, that sticks with you.
It does. It really helps. And during their formative years, and it really is an impact, of course, to prepare them before and then have meetings after, because once you get back, you got to digest it a bit.
And figure out what it was you saw, what it was, because sometimes they're stuck in the vacuum of their own brain. And so having other people kind of help them process.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really important. So the youth are my favorite.
That's awesome. Yeah, because they don't realize what they can do.
They don't. And it's really, you can tell which kids have parents who serve as well, because they're watching, kids are watching our every move. And if they see us serve, it's very normal for them. But if they don't, it is super eye-opening, and it's really awesome to watch it go the opposite way when they get home, to get their parents involved.
Oh, yeah, because they become the little spark that lights up their parents.
Yeah, and it's their chance to lead. And so that's pretty awesome to see as well.
Yeah, I remember going to Uganda. We had a, excuse me, going to Uganda, we had a teenager who went with our trip as well, and her mom came with her also. And one of the things that I thought was fascinating was that, you were going to this school where there are kids of all different ages there. Some of them live on the campus and some of them go back and forth to their own home place. But when they were on break, they all wanted to hang out with the teenager because she was closer to their age and she was running and laughing and more goofy. And I mean, she was like the superstar.
That's a whole other aspect when you're in country, especially if you're at a school. Oh, the kids, you don't have to speak the language. Like in Haiti, they speak Creole, and they know how to do it all. They know how to communicate without language, and they have so much fun together. Yeah, it's really awesome to bring kids.
Well, now you mentioned that when your boys were younger, you had them involved with sponsorship. So help me unpack that a little bit, because you've been involved with various organizations that do that, and you're actually doing something now. Are there sponsorships with Lunch Bucket?
Yes. Yeah, there are.
Okay. So first of all, you have, along with your son and some other folks, founded an organization called the Lunch Bucket, correct?
Correct.
So tell us about that first.
Okay. The Lunch Bucket is an organization that is set up a little differently than most organizations, especially in Haiti. It is not the Lunch Bucket is an organization that is helping fund a school, a Haitian-run school in Haiti. So what we're doing is we came along a gentleman called Alex, and he's an educator, and we've had a relationship with him for over a decade.
And he's from Haiti, right?
He's from Haiti, yes. He's fluent in English, and he's just an awesome man. Well, he saw a need for a school in his neighborhood, and so he asked, "Hey, Lisa, would you be interested in helping?" And I said, sure. And me and a group of friends, we now formed the Lunch Bucket. And so we do the fundraising to help. Alex owns the school. So what we're doing is we're raising funds to put the physical school on the lot. School started already. We have our first 45 students.
Woohoo! So this is your first, this is the beginning, right? That's the goal. You got started.
Yeah, we got started without a school building.
Okay.
So they're in a little makeshift building that is on the dirt lot. And so now, I mean, just took a total leap. And okay, it's going to come. And next thing I know, there's 45 students. But what it means to that area is it's priceless. People were lined up for a chance for their kids to go to school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's something we can't imagine. I mean, we can imagine that if it was like, there is a school out here that has a lottery for like a high school. But beyond that, for like elementary school, it's really hard to imagine people so desperate to just get in.
Right. Yeah. Education is not free in Haiti. So most people don't go to school. And if they do, it's usually just through 6th grade.
Mm.
So some of these students will be the only people, they don't know yet because they're young, but they may be the only people who can read in their family.
Ah, wow.
So it's a game changer. So that is what we're in the process of doing, is raising funds for this school.
Okay. And then people could do sponsorship.
Yeah. The way the sponsorship program works for us is very similar to other people. Is what happens is people will sign up to sponsor, and we will go ahead and match them with a student or a teacher. We also have teacher sponsorships.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's very different, but it's really awesome to connect an adult with an adult. Mm-hmm. So that has been such a wonderful addition. But what happens is we connect it, and all this money goes into a pot. What happens if, say, Paula, you sponsored a child and you suddenly came on hard times and had to cancel that, your child wouldn't be kicked out of school. That child would still continue to go. This money all goes together to pay for teachers and supplies and uniforms. And so it's a collective, and that's the way most sponsorships work. And so then we can all do it together and get those kids in there, get them dressed because they must have a uniform. It's the law.
Okay.
And get their books, which is regulated from the government, and get them in those doors and also get them fed. And it's a safe place to stay for the day. And so you just sign up sponsorship online and we'll do the rest. Hook you up.
Well, see, and then people get to, do they write letters to the students or the teachers, or do they?
Yeah, we give them the opportunity to write at least twice a year. They'll receive something. We've had the good fortune of having video as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, since we're just a school and not, we don't have many arms, and we're going to stay focused just on education.
Okay.
We are able to, like, we sent out our first teacher video to the sponsors of the teachers, and it's just so awesome to see. And then what happens is our sponsorship coordinator, Leanne Stiglich, she will send out an email saying, hey, we got a team going down in January. Do you want to send a small gift? And also, hey, I'm going to be compiling some letters to send down to Haiti. If you want to write your child, go ahead and email it to me. And then she emails it to Haiti, and then they print it up and read it to the child.
Okay.
And it works the same backwards. Yeah, it's really, really cool. And then if people want to meet their sponsor child in person, we'll have opportunity for that as well.
And that's actually, I mean, that's a doable thing in that Haiti is not super far away, so it doesn't cost as much.
Right.
Some other kinds of trips, say, like going to Africa or things like that.
Yeah, that one is a doozy. Yeah, it's really a quick trip. I mean, you get 5.5 hours to Fort Lauderdale or Miami, and then 70 minutes down to Haiti. It's super close.
That's awesome. Now, you also mentioned, I think you mentioned you've had kids go to Mexico, correct?
Yes.
And what is the organization that you've gone with before?
That is Yugo. They are a great little organization. It is a great family event. And what you do is, it depends on the number of people and the ages, but you bring your kids down, bring your husband down, whatever, friends, and then you stay in a compound that's super nice. There's great food nearby.
Yeah, and they keep you safe too.
They do. Yeah, it's a great area where they do their work, and they just do it so wisely too. It is a great organization. And you either build a house from ground up or you repair homes. And while the kids, play with the other kids in the neighborhood. And again, you don't have to speak the language. Kids just speak kid language,
Well, and I think it involves, like if you're fixing up a house, you could be painting, you could be, I think I've seen some pictures and different things of kids up on roofs, and, you're going with your family. So you're protecting them and all that kind of stuff.
And the people you're serving, they're just so wonderful. That whole community, the community they serve are from Central America. And they've migrated up, and it's done so wisely. I never once felt unsafe, and the drive down is super easy.
Yeah, especially now that they have a freeway.
Yes, that is handy. They didn't for a while.
Yeah.
Coming back might be a stinker right now until
depending on the way that the crossing is, but
But it's right. They have 2 campuses. The one we did with Real Life is right outside of Ensenada.
Right.
And they have another one, I believe it's in Baja, and I haven't been to that one.
Okay. Yeah, I had the opportunity to go with my family there.
Oh, awesome.
And it was so funny because, being the protective parent that I am, I was just sitting there going, okay, what are the safety warnings? What are the, and because I think I brought them when... Oh gosh, ballpark. I think Bethany was 8 and Rachel was 13 or 12, I think maybe. And so I was, a little nervous, but I'm even talking to a friend who was in the FBI. So how's Ensenada looking?
You are not unusual in that way, Paula. I've had to comfort many a parent.
But it was amazing. I mean, they have the nice compound, and they are taking care of you the whole way, and you're still fully experiencing Mexico.
Yeah.
The girls ended up going up on the roof with Tim and getting to work on a roof, which was awesome to them.
Great. It's so empowering.
Yeah. And I had a chance to talk with the mom with my oh so broken Spanish.
I'm sure she appreciated the attempt.
I'm sure she was confused by some of my wording. Especially when I get back and I go, what did I say? So now, just out of curiosity, now, what impact do you think it makes on the kids and families when somebody donates to, say, sponsoring somebody or takes a trip like that? How do you think that impacts them?
It impacts the family?
Yeah, the family and the kids.
Yeah, I think the key to mission trips really is the preparation. Because if you prepare your heart, and your children are hearing this from the team leader, ways to, like when I'm bringing youth down, the first thing I do at the first meeting is have them serve their family. Because it all starts in the home. So I have them serve their family, treat their parents. I have them talk to their teachers about what they're doing so they can have all their homework done before they go down, if it's during the school year.
Right, because sometimes the best time is like January.
Yeah, you just never know. It depends on where you're going when opportunity knocks as well. If there's a natural disaster, those are opportunities too. And I think in the home, the dialogue changes. To be grateful when you get back. The gratitude just booms. And if the parents can seize those moments and then expand on it, when you get home, don't have the trip be over. But now what can we do? On our last night on a mission trip, I like to sit down with the group and go, okay, and now what? You've seen, you're responsible. Now what? How can you best serve the organization you're here with,
right, or
the people, or what can you do when you're in your neighborhood? And you don't have to pick one thing. You can do many things. You never know what God's going to bring your way, but have your eyes peeled and ready for it.
That's good to know. Now, let's say some of the moms that are listening right now have teenagers. How do you think you could help them to get themselves interested and connected with missions and mission organizations?
Well, there's one thing to always keep in mind with teenagers. They're close enough to being younger where their hearts are soft, especially for children. But yet they're big enough to be a little miffed about it. So one thing to keep in mind is definitely a mission trip isn't rehab. So if you're thinking, my kid needs to see this, you might want to just take a little step back and go, okay, what are we dealing with here? But if there's even a spark of interest, or start with something smaller like Yugo, where you do it as a family and it is family bonding. And then the other things that they experience, just let that be a seed that will just maybe grow into the next step.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's and also you can start at home as far as finding out if there are ways that they can serve locally. I know we served as a family. There's a place out here called Help the Children. And of course, as a parent, you've got to be there with them. But there was a point where I was helping, and I think Bethany was 3, and Rachel would have made Rachel 6. And what they were able to help with was so minor, right? But there was a point where I still remember they saw somebody they knew, right, that was going through and needed to get a food box, and so we were able to have the conversation of, you don't know everybody's story, you don't know what's going on in their lives, and they're not less than because they're there. They are. I'm just so glad that organization's there to help them when they're having a hard time.
Yeah. If your children are young enough, definitely, the strongest example of a content child to me is one that is grateful. And if missions is part of your family culture from very young, it's just a way of life. For my kids, it was just what we do. It's who we are. It's not a plaque on your wall. It's not anything like that. It's just your culture of loving others. And I'm watching my daughter-in-law who does she does social media for the Lunch Bucket. And already, their little home that the family they're building, they're automatically going to be in a surrounding of missions.
Yeah.
So it's a great start, and it's never too late either for the ones who are starting a little later. It's never too late. It's just easier to start super, super young like you did.
Well, and to be fair, I actually, for myself personally, I grew up in a church where we were really good at reading the Bible and digging deep into it and seeking to understand it, but we weren't doing a lot with that. And so it wasn't until I was an adult that I started going and serving in missions because I was like, I think I should do this. And it was trial and error. I mean, I still remember my first aha moment where I realized that just because you're poor doesn't mean you don't have opinions.
You know, it's funny you say that. I was just reading this amazing blog. There's a maternity center down in Haiti called Heartline, and they do just amazing work. And I love how she writes in her blog. Her name is Tara. She just wrote a blog recently that just rocked my world. And part of it was, when you are materially poor, you don't have a voice. And it was so impactful. That is another great organization down in Haiti. They're called Heartline Ministries, and they're definitely worthy of support.
Well, and I'm fascinated by the different ways God has put it on people's hearts to help other people.
Yeah.
So things that I wouldn't have thought of, or that, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, right. And they can be the littlest things that are just, they end up being so big. I mean, just to encourage others. I mean, my whole friend base, they're so encouraging, and I try to encourage them, but we do everything together. Nobody does it alone. And it just makes it so much fun for you, your family, your kids.
Because it's a community experience.
Yeah. And we all do things better together.
Yeah, it's very true. Now, Lisa, I always ask this question, so I'm curious where you're at right now. What is your favorite Bible verse right now?
I like that you add the right now on there, because it does tend to it does. It changes. Right now, my favorite is Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, in fundraising for the Lunch Bucket, sometimes when we really want something to happen so bad, we're just working so hard that we forget we're not the ones really doing it. We're doing our best, but God will make it happen.
Yeah.
And I was telling Alex last week, I said, Alex, I need to spend more time in prayer than I do doing, because I'm stressing myself out.
Right.
This is, you can say you know what to do, but doing it sometimes is a different story. And as soon as I released it that morning, we got 2 sizable donations that just relit my fire.
Praise God.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, nobody can say they did this but you, Lord. And thank you so much. I sat in my car and cried. I did.
That's like, I love when I talk with people and they're super stressed out in ministry, and I've seen enough of it. Don't get me wrong, I still make oopses, but I've seen enough of it where I can see where you're feeling at your edge of your abilities and don't know what to do anymore. And I go, guess what? Now is when God gets to show off.
Yes. Oh, yes, it is. And he did. His timing is always perfect, so there's no mistake.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Lisa, how can we pray for you right now?
You can pray for me that I continue to do that. It's so easy to slip back down when you get a whole bunch of things on your plate. Could you pray for me for the funding, of course, for the Lunch Bucket, and when we break ground, that the right contractor, that everything just lines up. Yes, okay. And that every person who gives, that the Lord gives them just a sense of goodness inside, and their hearts are glad to do it.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. It's not about the burden of it. It's not about I have to fill the need.
Yes.
I get to fill the need.
Oh my gosh. Isn't it amazing? We get to do this. This just blows my mind.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm so glad you got to be on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
I am so glad you guys got to meet Lisa. She is an amazing lady and a sweet, sweetheart. And all those things that she mentioned will be in the show notes on BibleMomming.com. So just go over to BibleMomming.com, look for episode 24 on the podcast, and you will see in the show notes the links to the various organizations, including YouGo, Children of the Nations, the Lunch Bucket that she is one of the founders of, and you could start getting your own family involved in missions. That makes a huge difference for them and for you. Now, mamas, I want to encourage you, make sure that you subscribe to this podcast if you liked it. Tell a friend, share it with a friend, check out the Facebook Bible Momming group. We would love to have you join us. I've enjoyed this time we have together. I know you have plenty of things to do and many options, so thank you for listening. Remember, love is patient, love is kind, and that is never more real than in our families. God bless you and have a great week.